to Marketing Without the Marketing. I'm your host, Michael Bosey, and very glad you can join me today because this episode will serve as the season finale of the podcast. I'll be closing up shop for the next 6 weeks or so. But if you're brand new to the podcast, this is actually a great place to start. And here's why. This podcast is called Marketing Without the Marketing, right? So I'm talking about marketing, but not in the way that we think about marketing, with the sort of icky and pushy and aggressive tactics that you see every day and that we all hate, right? I try to do things in a different way, a more respectful, ethical, soft touch manner. And that's really good for people like you and me, small business owners. And if you follow along with this podcast, if you're a subscriber, you know that my definition of small business owners is quite broad. It includes anyone who's trying to run a startup or a freelancer or a solo entrepreneur or creatives like writers or musicians or other artists. Anyone who has a small business and defines themselves that way. We are very close to our businesses, so we can't be doing these tactics that are, as I described, as sort of pushy and aggressive, because it reflects on us, right? We're very close to our brands. We can't do that, so we have to do different things. So great. To me, that's an opportunity. We have the chance to get closer to our customers, to know them better, to compete against much larger competitors because of this. But here's the thing. When we're just starting out, just starting our business, right? The set of challenges that we have is very different off the blocks, if you will, than any other thing that you'll do in business. And you really have to set yourself up to market yourself and do it in the right way. So to stick with the running metaphor, the starting pistol goes off and you run as fast as you can. But here's the thing. There's not always a clear track. And each track is unique to you. It's your path. Now, I've enjoyed sharing with you my path so that you have a model in the recent episodes of this series. Some things you'll use, some things won't apply. But some of my mistakes, you'll see them coming now. Awesome. That's the way that I can help with this. And if you're just starting a business or you're thinking about starting your own thing, just go through these episodes in this recent series. Just reel back to episode 120. It's called So You Want to Start a Business, and play them in order from there. Or I've already done this for you with a set of video versions of these lessons, plus a bunch of tools and templates and other links in a free online course called How to Start a Business, a Case Example. You can find this on my site at controlmousemedia.com/courses, or I got a link in the show notes for you to make it simple for you. But here's a quick summary of these episodes, these lessons, so that you can go right to the thing that you need help with right away. Like I said, everyone's path is different, and I wanted to make this super easy for you to skip ahead or go back or refer to them or whatever. Let's make this simple. All right, so here's the quick summary. After a brief introduction to the series, I went all the way back to day one of my new business and gave a path that I think would work for you as well because, look, you need content. You got to start writing or producing something so you can tell your customers what to do. And I want to see you come up with a plan, not just start posting willy-nilly, right? Work from a plan. It will pay dividends later, which you'll see later in the series. And also, the fact is that you're going to be interacting with your audience. You're going to be learning from them. And writing a blog is a great way to do that. Now, in the next segment, that was called Finding Mentors and Models, where, out of the gate, your job is to learn everything that you can. And for me, learning involved also finding mentors, people who I'd worked with before, or people who were a few years ahead of me in starting their own business. And then, of course, once you've done that down the road, then you get the chance to pay it forward, which is what I'm doing with these lessons here. And look, I always take coffee with someone who wants to learn something from me now about my path. I think it's the right thing to do. Now, the next segment after that is really focused on the first month of your new business, where you're going to be testing your assumptions. And this is where, you have to be prepared to have everything feel difficult, right? We're going to be making tons of mistakes, thousands of mistakes. I did this. It'll feel the same way for you. I feel like if you don't recognize mistakes, you're probably doing something wrong. To me, I leaned into research, where I was doing some direct study through some surveys and interviews with potential customers. Helped a lot. And then I wanted to devote a segment to fear. Because fear is something that gets in our way. It stops us. It's a huge roadblock for small business owners and entrepreneurs and all. And the thing that I wanted to express is that it's going to take a little while, but it will go away. For me, it was about 15, 16 months. And you know what? Talking to a lot of other small business owners, that seems to be fairly common. It takes about a year and a half, 18 months or so, for the fear to disappear, where you don't worry anymore, where your next customer or your next client is going to come from. You will get there, but it's going to be scary until then, right? You have to get used to that. Very worthwhile episode, just because I feel like we all face this and we all need to sort of, brace ourselves for it and sort of, just understand that it's going to happen and you can't get past it. It's just going to take some time, but it will subside and it will actually disappear. All right, next segment was creating content as a business asset. A set of cornerstone content is absolutely critical, especially if you're working towards something like an online course, for instance, which is the last segment in this series. Your content is not just for audience building, it's also there to serve your business as a business asset. So a good thing for you to review there in what kind of content to create. The next segment after that is a deeper dive on the question of whether or not you should start a podcast. Podcast has been a great thing for me in my business, and there are a lot of great reasons for why that's the case. Once I understood my audience, I had sort of shifted my focus from blogging, and I wanted to go over all the different pros and cons for you to decide whether or not it's a good strategy for you. Then I talk about building your email list, the most important thing that you can do for your business. Yes, you need a website. Yes, you need social media, all that stuff. Great. But your email list is your conversion instrument. It's actually how you sell to a customer because, hey, look, being in someone's inbox, getting that high-level permission means that you have some sort of relationship and you're building trust. And as I explained in that lesson, wish I had done it sooner. And so my clarion call to you is start now. And in this segment, I give you sort of a starting point for that. The last episode in the series is productizing your knowledge. And, from day one all the way through all the content that you're creating, it can contribute to something else bigger. And this is a really nice feature if you go into your entire content strategy with some planning up front. It can be really, really cool. It can be a great thing to do. I've done it, and I give you a couple of very specific examples from my path, just so that you can try it for yourself. It's not perfect for every business. It's not going to work for every business, but for anyone who's teaching someone something as a part of their business, it could be really great for you. All right, so that'll wrap up this series and the season. And I've given you 2 different ways to get this content for free, both here on the podcast, reel back to episode 120, or go sign up for my free online course for the video versions of this at controlmousemedia.com/courses. Would love to see you in there, and hopefully this helps you. Like I said, this whole thing has been a way for me to pay it forward to you so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made. Lots of people were super nice to me when I was starting, and this is my way to be super nice to you, and I hope that you get something out of it. All right, so now I'm closing up shop for the next 6 weeks, but I'll see you in mid-September or so, and I've got some great stuff planned. I can't wait to share it with you guys, but until then, have a great rest of the summer. Really appreciate you, your attention, your comments, your feedback, your support. It means a lot to me. So all the best to you. We'll see you in the fall. Have a great summer.